All right, everyone, so I promised I was going to make a very detailed video of this Hella Horns installation, starting from the beginning. So this is a little like trolley that I've packed for everything that I need to take with me to the garage. If I don't do something like this because of my ADHD, I'll be running in and out, in and out, in and out, and it just wastes a lot of time. So I'm filming, I'm going to be taking my ring light. I have a couple blankets just that I can lay under the car and lay on the floor so I don't get dirty. I'm going to be taking some drinks out there because it's going to be pushing 100 degrees outside today and it's going to be hot. I'm bringing some gloves so my hands don't get dirty. This is for filming. This is also to set some of my filming gear on. I have the Perrin Hella Horns with bracket. I am bringing this because it has wiring instructions on the side, although I don't know if I need it or not. And I'm gonna bring my little toolbox toolkit outside. That way I have everything and I don't need to be running in and out. All right, guys, I'm gonna be working in my garage today. First things first, I'm going to put gloves on. Does anyone need a prostate check? Just kidding. I know that was inappropriate, but come on, it's funny. It's funny. So when you're doing any type of installation on your car, especially when it involves wiring, you want to disconnect the battery. I know that can seem like a very scary and tedious thing, but you want to be safe rather than sorry. You don't want any type of electrical shortage. So the way that you disconnect a battery is you're going to have two sides, right? You can see right here, you have the negative sign. And then of course right here, there's a cover showing the plus sign, but it also shows it right here on the battery. So when it comes to disconnecting the battery, you want to disconnect negative first and positive, and then make sure when you disconnect, you're pulling it away from the battery and other metal. The reason why you disconnect the negative first over the positive is to prevent an electrical shortage. Then when we reconnect the battery later, we'll do it opposite. We'll reconnect positive first and then negative. So I'm gonna get a tool to kind of loosen this up, and then I'm going to take it off and remove it, and then the battery will be disconnected. Make sure that the vehicle is turned off and that all your windows are up, and then you can get started. I bought like a big kit off Amazon. This is all I have left. These are plastic fasteners because when I removed them last time, when I was working on the fog lights, a lot of them snapped and broke. So I would definitely recommend having some on hand in case you need to replace them. So as you can see here, we have these bolts and these fasteners. Probably not safe, I don't recommend that. And then over here in like the wheel well, can see here. So I'm just gonna take my time. Remember, there's no rush when it comes to any of this. Just take it one step at a time. I'm gonna lay a blanket down so I can put all the bolts and pieces there so I don't lose track of anything. I'm just laying a couple blankets down so I can put all my parts on there. And then if I need to lay underneath the car, I'm not getting dirty, I'm just going to use a regular screwdriver to go underneath the car and remove the plastic fasteners. I'm also working in the engine bay. There's a couple shrouds that I have to remove and a few fasteners that you have to take out, as well as some bolts before the front bumper will come off. I'm going to use a 10mm socket wrench. I think that's what the name of this is. And I'm going to remove the remaining bolts so we can get the front bumper off. Then I'm just going to go underneath the car and make sure I remove all the plastic fasteners around the bottom. All right, so as you saw in the beginning of the video, the front bumper, of course, just flew right off, which scared me, but I checked everything and everything was fine. Yeah, I almost had a nervous breakdown. The instructions from Perrin actually recommend to remove and disconnect the fog lights, but I could not figure it out for the life of me. So I left them on and didn't worry about it. But if you're able to disconnect them, I would highly recommend doing that. Okay, now I'm on the hunt for my OEM horn. And if I didn't watch a YouTube tutorial last night, I wouldn't have known there were actually two horns installed on this car. One was right underneath the front and the grille, and the other was to the left. I was shocked, y'all. I was shocked. I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolt off this horn. And then after that, I'm going to remove the bolt right in the front where I'm going to put the Hella Horns and the mount. And then I'm going to also remove like the little, I don't know, it's not a bolt. It's like a fastener, I guess. And then, sorry, I'm kind of jumping around. I use this tool with an extender right here to remove the OEM horn, and then you just click a button to pull it away from its harness. Both of these horns took me forever to remove just because they were on there so tight, and I don't have power tools, but I removed both of them and set them to the side. All right, guys, so I have removed both of the horns, one right underneath the front and then one to the left. The Grimspeed wiring harness fits into either or, so I think I'm just going to use the one closest. That way I can clean everything. I need to figure out how to hide that like loose wire, maybe with electrical tape and some zip ties. Let's do that now before I forget, and then we'll move on to actually putting the hella horns on. This installation actually isn't difficult. I don't know how to say it. It's an easy installation if you have the strength and the tools for it. If I had power tools, this would be way easier. The most time I've spent on is removing the bolts, which have been extremely hard for me to remove, and then the fastener clips underneath the bumper because they're all just like broke and rotted. So that's been the hardest part, but let's go on and hide this wire so I don't forget about it, and then we'll worry about putting the hella horns on. AM horn over here, I removed it, and I'm left with this wire dangling down here. I don't know how I feel about that. And I've never been someone that has like done this before, so I don't know if I should like electrical tape it to the fog light thing. This is okay. I had some electrical tape, so I just took the plug that was plugged into the OEM horn, and I like electrical taped it to this guy right here. I just don't want it flailing around or get water in it. So that's how I'm gonna leave it for right now. Here is the Perrin mount that came with it. So we want it this way. Here are the hella horns. And it comes with 2 washers, so we're gonna put the washers on first and then the nut. I watched a YouTube video where someone said it's better if you make it this way. So we want to make sure that the STI is facing this way. I already put these on and I'm not changing it, but someone on a video said that it's better if you do it where these are at the bottom, but I don't know. We're just gonna work with it the way that we have it. And I actually think since I got the Grimspeed wire harness, we're not gonna need this. But if you don't buy the harness, I would hold on to this. Side of the hella horns packaging, it's actually gonna show you how to wire it if you don't get the wire harness. But I chose to get the wiring harness because it's supposed to be easier and plug and play, but this is here in case you need it. Okay, so I went on the Grimspeed website and they break it down a little bit more online. They do say you should be able to see through the mesh, but honestly guys, I don't know. I shined a flashlight on it and I see red. I don't know if I'm mislooking, but it has like this heat shrink wrap and it says you should be able to like see where the origination comes from. And in my mind, that means it's like this, right? So one is black red, one is black red, and it says it doesn't matter like which side you put them on, like here or here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this. I'm gonna plug my battery back in because I would hate to install all of this and then find out it's not working. So I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna turn my battery on after I plug this into the outlet, and then we're gonna see if it works before we mount it on. Okay guys, so I did trial and error. I plugged in the wiring how I thought. I plugged the battery up, nothing was happening. I started to freak out and I was like, okay, switch the wires, try it again. I disconnected the battery. I switched the wires around, and I'm about to play it for you guys. It sounds like a train horn. Wait till you hear this shit. Okay, now that I know that it works, I'm just going to disconnect the battery again, just because of the wiring and everything, and then we're going to mount these guys. So let's get to it. I mounted the hella horns, but they're a little uneven because I haven't tightened it yet. I want to check it one more time with just plugging in the battery in to make sure that it works. Remember, we're going to connect positive first and then negative. And I'm not going to tighten it quite yet, but now we're going to put negative on. Okay. Let's see if it works. I'm dead, dude. After mounting the hella horns and triple checking that they do work, it's time to put the bumper back on. It's very easy to lift, very lightweight, and now you can just go ahead and put all the bolts back in, the fasteners on the bottom and the top, and just ensure that your bumper is properly installed.